I said, back from what? I'm back from taking Gaither, I think that was her name, taking Gaither out driving. I said, well, I told you that I wanted you to come and pick me up. So I put the phone down. Third time. I told you I'm back. Has that guy left yet? And that's the time I said to myself, what's he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, he has not gone. He's here, because the fellows hadn't come around and picked him up. He said, well, you tell that guy, I said, go home. Oh, what a blow. That was a blow to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm coming and bring the car. Well, I should have just realized that he couldn't walk back home because he lived perhaps a mile from there, about 10 blocks. But he came. And when he came, I went out to the car and I did something that I've never seen anybody do, never done before. I took my left hand and slapped him in the face and said, I told you to come to pick me up tomorrow. And I went on back in the house. Well, I know the fellow saw it. I know he saw it because the window was opposite where he was. I came on back, and Malachi said something to me. I don't know what he said because I was pretty wrought up over his coming and calling me so much. So Monday morning, he went back home. Monday morning, he came back to pick me up. And I think I said, how do you do? And we went on in the office, and I tried to wonder, how am I going to approach this? Oh boy, because I couldn't sleep at night for having put my hand in a man's face.
Right.
That was terrible. And I said, Mr. Boynton, I want you to forgive me for slapping you. I didn't mean to do it. I was angry. Please forgive me. And I tried to give him a little peck on the cheek. And when I tried that, he grabbed me with a bear hug. He said, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. And from then on, we became sweethearts. And later on, he proposed to me. And I said, well, you've got to ask my mother about me. I've been out there 6 or 7 or 8 years. So he wrote my mother, and she said, yes, because my father was dead. And from then on, we planned the marriage, the wedding, in fact. And we went to Philadelphia. And when we went to Philadelphia, my mother had a wedding, and we just wanted to just get married where she was. Mm-hmm. And he said, I don't like any fanfares. He was just that straight. He said, let's go to New Jersey. In New Jersey, you didn't have to have anything.
Right.
Well, he had the license. But we went to New Jersey, we got married, and when we got back, my mother said, you won't cheat me out of a wedding. So she went on with the plans that she had made, and I married him twice.
Oh, wow. How long were y'all married?
27 years.
Do you have children?
I have one son, and he is an attorney in Selma, Alabama. But I reared his son by his first wife. Oh. He was 8 years old when we are married. And he immediately, somehow his mother let him come to Selma. She was in Mississippi. And he came to Selma. And that's where he stayed until he went to college. You know, the interesting thing is, I learned lessons along the way, and I was very much taken back by the way she loved her son. I'm sure she did. But he was around 9 years old, 9 or 10 years old, and he'd been living with us. And he came up and said, "Oh, my mother wants me to come and spend Christmas. I'm going to Mississippi and spend Christmas." He was so happy. Then she wrote and told him, "Don't come." And it broke his little heart.
Oh, bless his heart.
That was a blow to me, to think that she would cancel anything she had with her child. And to this day, he doesn't have anything to do with his family on his mother's side. He accepts my mother, or I accepted her because she's dead. My cousins, my nieces, my nephews, he just tells them, that's my cousin, that's my aunt. He just took my family as his family. And as he said the other day, "I don't ever tell anybody that you are not my mother." And I appreciate that, because I bent backward trying to make up for a real mother.
Right.
And he appreciated it. And I know when I started working, I think I made $7 that week.
Wow. Wow.
And the first thing I did was to go downtown and buy a shirt for him to wear to school. And see, my son was just weeks and months old when I went to work. And I knew that he would need the things that a 9 or 10-year-old child would need.
Right.
So I made my son's clothing. I made his little pantsuits and his little jackets and things like that. And I think to this day that my son feels that I love my son, my stepson, more than I do him.
Oh, no. Can you tell me about Freedom Riders? I know that you did a lot with Dr. Martin Luther King in Selma, Alabama, the marches and things like that. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
When I went to Selma, Mr. Boynton was already there and was working with the people on plantations. Well, now, plantation life did not deviate very much from slavery. The people lived in the same house. The people who were over the plantation were just a step below their fathers and mothers. They treated the plantation, the renters or tenants or sharecroppers, that's what they were called. They treated them just the same way. They could not get off of the farm if they were needed on the farm. They would kick them off when they get ready. They didn't know how much money they made. For instance, it was the system, not only in Dallas County, but other places, where the plantation owner would tell the head of the family, "Well, John, you come to my house or my store," if they had one, "and let's have a settlement." And the settlement would be like this. "Well, John," he would have paper and pencil, like he was figuring. "John, you made 7 bales of cotton. And I think that's pretty good, but you ought to be able to do better. Now, I'm going to give you 3 bales, and I'm going to keep 3 bales. Now, there's a bale, but you can't half a bale, so I'll take that." Then he started figuring what was to come out of his money.